So we're going to pick back up where we left off yesterday, which was slide 17. I left off asking you to think about another system besides the muscular system that works closely with the skeletal system. So there are lots of examples that you could have chosen. You could have gone with the, digestive system. You could have gone with the nervous system. You could have gone with the integumentary system, which is your skin. So there were a lot of different options. All I wanted you to do was make sure that you told how the systems work together to do something for the body. So there are lots of possible correct answers. Moving on to slide 18, we're going to talk about the connections in the skeletal system. So the way that bones attach to bones is with ligaments, which are these little white cords. They look like ropes or cords or bands. They attach bone to bone. And then tendons attach muscle to bone. They look very similar, but they just are attaching muscle to bone. Someone on the input stations, when we did these last week, called ligaments bone glue and called tendons muscle bone glue. So I thought that was a really cool way to remember these. So if you can remember that a ligament is bone glue, it connects bones. And then tendons are muscle bone glue. They connect muscles to bone. So pause this for just a second and answer the question, what holds the bones and muscles together? Moving on to slide 19. We're just going to take a moment to talk about the difference between the male and female skeleton. This becomes really important for like forensic investigators if they discover a body that no longer has any tissue or is very difficult to identify. One of the ways that they can begin to tell if it was a male or a female, just to start, is to look at the skeleton. The biggest difference is the pelvis. So, obviously, for a female, their pelvis has to be shaped to allow for childbirth. So, the pelvis is wider, it's flatter, and it's more circular, which is going to allow a baby to pass through that opening so that they can deliver a child. A male skeleton does not have those features because a male is not designed to birth a child. You'll also find that when you look at a female skeleton, they're not as massive. So if you were to weigh them on a scale, you're going to find that female skeletons are typically going to be smaller. So if you took a male and female that were the same height and found the mass of their bones, the female skeleton is typically going to be less massive. And then you can also look at the rib cage, and for a female rib cage, it's going to be rounded and smaller. So pause this for just a moment and answer this question. How is the female skeletal system different than the male skeletal system? Moving on to slide 20. This is probably the most difficult slide and hopefully also the most fun. So what you're going to do here is you're going to answer these clues. For example, the first clue, is attach muscle to bone. So this is actually a definition for one of the words we've already talked about. So you can go back and look at your notes and find the place where it says attach muscle to bone, and you'll find that that is the tendons. And so what you'll do is type that word in one letter per box. On yours, the E and D are already there. So you would add the other letters. And then what you'll do is in these boxes that are shaded purple, you're going to take all of those letters once you're finished filling them in and type them in this code word box. And at first, they're going to look like nonsense because you have to unscramble them to solve the code word. So, the most important part is for you to look at the definitions and figure out what the word is and type that word into the box. The second thing that you'll do is take all of those purple shaded letters and type them into the code word box. And then once you've got that typed in, there's a big hint over here to help you unscramble the letters. And it says the secret code involves the main function of the skeletal system. So you're going to look at the letters that you end up with down here, all scrambled up, and you're going to see if you can find how to unscramble it to make it mean something to do with the main function of the skeletal system. This is probably going to take you longer than the other slides that we've done. So this is where I'm going to stop these notes for today. I want you to go back and use your notes, fill these in. The length of the boxes is going to give you some hints. So here holds the skeleton together and supports movement. You're obviously looking for a 5-letter word from the notes. Most of these words are going to be found in bold print in the slides. So you can go back and look for those answers. Again, the most important part is filling this in. If you can unscramble the code word, that's awesome. If you have difficulty unscrambling the code word, that's okay. So I'm going to stop you there. Please finish this and we will resume with slide 21 tomorrow.